Hey guys, I have about 20 minutes before my next session, but I thought I'd jump on here because my theme today is all affirmation. It's how to repurpose our words to create new realities, to activate new realities, to vibrate at a higher frequency. Okay? The thought that came to me today is because a lot of us say, I don't understand why this hasn't happened, or I don't understand why. And that's something that we all do. And we can easily reframe that to instead of saying, I don't understand why, you can say, I trust my universe so much that I don't need to understand it because what's coming my way is going to surpass what I thought I wanted. And by flipping these things, how we think, we really start to give birth to new realities. Your words are energy. And so when you pulse out an energy that destroys as opposed to create, you're actually destroying your own life in a way. You're actually impeding on what the universe is trying to create for you. So your words are really like the abracadabra. They are the paintbrush, and your reality is the canvas. And if you use your words sensibly, if you use your words wisely, then you're going to manifest all of your heart's desires. How I look at it is like a lot of us have visions of what the future holds. We think we're imagining or daydreaming, but really we're just accessing other realities. Really, we are. We have prophetic access, and a lot of us don't really take the time to stretch that ability, to flex it, to stretch it, to whatever. We don't take the time to really work with that muscle. But we do have this capability of having prophetic access to other dimensions, which are all other versions of ourselves that are floating about in simultaneous realities, in alternate realities. And so a lot of you have probably daydreamed before, and you've accessed a dimension where you become a millionaire, or where you're happily married and in love, or where you have that child that you always wanted. That's actually not you imagining, that's actually you accessing. And this is how I see it. That next version of who you are, okay, it's not your higher self. It's kind of like a ladder, okay? So you have the next staircase and the next one and the next one and the next one. That next version of yourself who's going to be a mom, that next version of yourself who's going to be an extremely successful entrepreneur, that version of yourself is trying to transport you out of your reality and into that one. So in other words, you're being integrated into that next version of yourself. Just like we integrate aspects within this now, that next version is integrating the you that you are now into it. So it's really just trying to catapult you into this new dimension. And if we make smart choices, if we use our language wisely, if we are vigilant with our thought life, okay, and what comes out of our mouth. A lot of people are constantly regurgitating the very cycle that they're caught in, the very circle that they keep rotating around. And they're not helping themselves one bit. They're crippling themselves. And we all have the power. All of us are creators, but some of us are conscious creators and some of us are unconscious creators. But we all have the ability to create. We do it all day long. People who create drama are creating, but they don't understand that they're doing it unconsciously. They're attracting all this negativity, but that's also a valid choice because eventually the reflection is going to be so strong, and they're going to hit rock bottom, or everyone's going to start to oppose them, that they're going to say, I don't want to be this person that creates drama anymore. So we have to lend validity to everything that we do, because everything that we do is reflecting back to us what we need to change about ourselves. But back to repurposing and refocusing our energy to create new dimensions, to create new worlds, to align with those realities because they already exist. Back to that. For me, I've had times where I'm in the gym and I injure myself so bad. But instead of saying, and trying to put it back where it's supposed to go, or if I'm out of alignment, I just say, okay, my body's changing. This was supposed to happen. And so I'm going to participate in the upgrade, collaborate with my guides, and just be in surrender mode. Surrendering is so important on this process, on this path, because it teaches you how to let go. It lets you know you're not in control. And when we get out of our own way, then the universe flows in like a river and starts to create magic for us. Okay? And it starts to have those realities that already exist emerge from within. That's really how it works. But your words are everything. Your words matter. They actually have an effect on everything. It's the cause and effect. So if someone is complaining about being tired, the domino effect is that they're probably going to be more tired that day. So they're not helping themselves. For me, if I wake up tired, I'll be like, yay, I'm going through an upgrade. I'm going through a transformation. Let's just make the best out of this day and let's kill it. So that's where we have to really be vigilant with our thought life. Because if you don't select your vibration, if you don't select your thoughts or the thoughts that you want, for me, thoughts are angels or demons. I choose angelic thoughts. I choose to align with the highest realities. Okay, anything that is not of my highest good or for my highest good is dismissed. I don't allow it in. Okay, and you get to the place where it gets so easy. At first, it's kind of like a plane that goes up into the air and there's a lot of turbulence, right? So when you're ascending in the beginning, when you're awakening, there's a lot of turbulence because you're having to deprogram, to reprogram. You're having to unlearn, to relearn. You're having to undistort all that distortion within your body and purify all those impurities to then remap your patterns. So at first, it's really difficult. It really is, because you've had all of this programming embedded in every molecule of your being, in your bones, in everything. And so you're having to gut all that stuff out. That can be a long, arduous process. All right. I will say that my Kundalini happened in 2011, and I've been meditating every day around the clock. It becomes a way of being. Okay. And there's still stuff I have to clear. But I can say, I can attest to the fact that life becomes a lot easier when you don't hold all that programming anymore, when you erase those files that you don't need in your biological computer anymore. Life gets a lot easier. At first, yes, it's a little turbulent, and then just like a plane, you rise and you rise and you rise, and then you eventually land above the clouds, and it's like, I get this now. I've transcended all these old belief systems. I've transcended all these self-imposed thoughts, or these beliefs that I've inherited from my family, from my ancestors, from my Akash, because your Akashic records are you in other lifetimes, and a lot of times we bring those energies with us. And once you clear all that stuff, you actually float. You feel lightness. You feel pleasantness in your body. When you get sick, you have a choice. Like, to me, when I get sick, I'm like, great. Like, my divine template is being reset right now. And it's the universe's way of saying we need you to rest for a little bit so that we can work on you as your cosmic surgeons, as your cosmic doctors. So whenever I catch the flu or whatever, and it only happens once a year, maybe maximum twice a year, I celebrate it. I'm like, great. I've been doing a lot. And now my body needs me to just decompress, to rest, so that I can restore my body, so that I can come back to my original template, and wipe out anything that doesn't need to be there anymore. But it's all a mindset. All of it is a mindset. So if you're sick and you're like, oh, I hate the energy's coming out of your mouth and you're creating worlds, and those worlds are really they're not going to be the highest vibrational realities. They can actually be very low vibrational realities. But if you're sick and you say, I'm going to sink into my heart right now and just allow all that is happening, the transformation, and I'm so privileged to be going through this transformation, then you give thanks to all things. That's what you're doing. You're giving thanks to all things. Nothing is coincidental. Nothing is. So when you're dealing with love, if you're like, I don't understand why he hasn't called me back, be like, instead flip it and be like, I don't need to understand why. It just means that the universe is bringing me something better. And my third dimensional self had an idea that it was him or her, but the universe has something better in store for me. Every thought that you have is a coin. Every thought. Eventually it's not a coin because you train yourself you entrain with those higher frequencies, and then most of the thoughts that you have are great thoughts because you've anchored yourself, you've empowered yourself, you've unsubscribed from all of those thoughts that weigh you down. Okay, you no longer accept them in your reality as a part of your dimension that you now reside in. But at first, yeah, thoughts are like a coin. So you can choose the angel or you can choose the demon. And I'm all about colonizing my mind. Colonize your mind with the most angelic thoughts. And that's a practice. It takes devotion. It takes dedication. But it's what we do here. Okay? So with love, if you ever say, I don't understand why he hasn't proposed yet, or I don't, be like, you know what? I'm not trusting the process right now. And I need to trust my universe. I need to trust that all is well and all is unfolding in the most divine way. Okay? The universe is never, ever going to punish you. Whenever we say things like, I don't understand why, what, who, when, where, how, those are very linear questions. They're very linear. Okay? It's like a fixed reality where present and past and future exist. And like I mentioned earlier, those don't really exist. There are alternate realities. There are infinite timelines happening concurrently. And once we start to enhance that psychicness, once we start to enhance and develop our gifts as empaths and as clairaudience and clairvoyance and claircognizance and so on, then we can actually track all those realities. You can see through infinite timelines. And that gives you so much power because you get to choose which timeline you want to quantum jump into. Okay? So, but most of the time when we say why, when, what, why, where, we're still operating from that very fixed reality where past and present and future are ruling us. And the truth is we are boundless. We are limitless. We are infinite beings of love and light. And there is no limit as to what we can do. We actually choose those limits based on our beliefs, based on our perceptions. Your beliefs create your reality. Your perceptions create your reality. So you get to decide in any given moment which belief system you want to unsubscribe from. And you're constantly going to be forming new belief systems according to where you're vibrating, because that belief system is going to help you. It's going to lift you up. So an example of that would be like if someone's never spoken the truth, they're going to erase that belief system once they empower themselves, and then they're going to develop a new belief system of, I believe I have to always speak my truth. Because they're pretty much tipping the scale back, right? And they're recalibrating how they used to show up in a disempowered state, and they're recalibrating it. So when we go too far left, sometimes we have to go too far right to bring the scale back to the middle. It's like a seesaw, But eventually that belief system of I always have to speak my truth will become obsolete, and you'll probably have to discard that one as well. So we're constantly shifting as beings. And that's what's beautiful, is that we are explorers, we are adventurers, and we explore and dive into all these different dimensions. And if we can release the judgment around it all, then that's all we are frequency studiers. We are students of life. We are just studying different dimensional realities. But your words are everything. They can either create or destroy. So you have to use that wisely. Otherwise, if you don't select your thoughts are going to be selected for you. As long as we're in a dualistic nature of reality, we have to choose a side. Am I committed to bettering myself? Otherwise, your thoughts are going to swallow you. Okay, they're really going to swallow you. So focus on your meditations, focus on speaking positively, being a positive speaker, being a positive thinker. Okay, and whenever you have a negative thought, make sure not to say it, because if you say it, usually when people speak negatively, it means that they've energized what was up here so much so that became their reality solidified. It solidifies their reality. And then they're like, yeah, my life sucks. And it's because they've given so much energy to those thoughts that they eventually manifest in physical form. And words are physical. You hear them. That's how I see it. You hear them. Thoughts you don't hear. But if someone speaks negatively, or they're in victimhood, or in the pity me or poor me or doom and gloom, people who speak that way, it's showing you, it's revealing to you that they're constantly energizing negative thoughts. People who speak positively are feeding the more positive thoughts. And eventually it does settle in, it does lock in, because it is a muscle. And we have to focus on developing that muscle. If everyone could understand that you are a channel and that you're always going to receive all kinds of thoughts, okay, because there are a myriad of dimensions. There are infinite dimensions. There are the lower realities, the higher realities, and what we're here to do is to sort through them, okay? And you're going to keep receiving all those thoughts until you decide, all right, I want this reality, I want that reality, I don't want that one, you toss that one, and it's like a switchboard. Boop, 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 boop. But the entire cosmos is within you, and you get to decide, am I going to only activate the highest realities within me, or am I going to activate the lower ones? That you get to decide that. You're the master of this reality. You're the picker. You get to pick. So flip everything. Oh, I don't understand why I didn't get that job. Someone else needed it. I didn't get the job because someone else needed it. Can you feel that in your heart? There's a resonance there. That's oneness. And I know that there's a better job in store for me. Flip everything. Okay? The weather sucks outside today. No, the weather's beautiful. And I'm being given... and I'm in a different dimension today. There's different weather. And I get to explore that. Okay? So then imagine yourself as someone living in London where they have rain a lot and it's cloudy. And just take yourself out and explore that frequency. Oh, wow. It's cloudy and what do people feel in London? What do people feel? How do the people who like the cloudiness, how do they feel? And you start to connect with that emotion. You start to connect with that energy. If you say like, oh, I don't understand why I got in this car accident. Oh, you know what? I got in a car accident. It is what it is. It was to teach me to bring more mindfulness to things, more presence to things. And I'm going to know better for the next time. All right? Everything that you're going through in your life is to increase your presence. It's to increase your awareness. It's to increase your frequency. And every day you are given thousands of opportunities to form alliances with angels, to form alliances with higher dimensional beings, to form alliances with the highest realities. All right? We only align with that here. We've learned to honor ourselves. We've learned, and I'm speaking for the collective of all the people, all the guardians on New Earth that did this job, that are doing the job, that are putting in the work. We don't allow anything that is fear-based into our minds. Your mind is a sanctuary, okay? Your body is a temple. Your everything is sacred. And so unless it's sacred, don't allow it in. Because God loves you. Source loves you. Whatever you believe in loves you. And so if you ever have a limiting thought, that's not God. Okay? That's a demonic, lower dimensional, whatever you want to call it, parasitic, vampiric energy that wants you to believe the thought so that it can then take your energy. All right? But if you start aligning with angels and positiveness, then your world is going to completely change and the highest realities are going to align for you. Highest reality. They already exist. Everything that you want already exists. You are that on another dimension. Now you need to speak positively to keep increasing your vibration and eventually land on that reality. Okay? And it's not a higher reality, but I'm explaining it metaphorically so you understand this is about frequency. There are lower frequencies. When someone constantly complains, when someone has a bad aura, like Pigpen and Charlie Brown, when someone has all that stuff, okay, we don't want pig pens around us, all right? It stinks. The aura is not good. To me, the aura is like a perfume. It's like a fragrance. If it doesn't smell good, I don't want to be around it, okay? So we only align with the highest realities. If you align with someone who's negative, you still have negativity because you're not honoring yourself. You're still subjecting yourself to that. So turn every word into a positive word and know that you are loved, and know that this is just a big fat test. Your higher self is constantly testing you to see if you're going to resist where it's trying to transport you, or if you're just going to surrender and sacrifice all those lower fear programs and all those negative thoughts to come into that higher self, to unify with your higher self, to merge with your higher self, to become one with all that is, to become one with all those highest realities in which you exist. All right? I love you guys. I have a call that starts in 2 minutes, literally, but I'm so glad I got to get this done. And I'm sending you infinite light and blessings as always.